Gabriel boy go out here and panic his ass off soon as he get thrown in there with the Wolves. Because the real Wolves come during the season.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is coming. Baltimore is coming. The real Wolves is coming. Now, I am praying to God that Shedeur gets an opportunity to show what he can really do. And I think that would be probably the best thing for him. But knowing the Cleveland Browns, they dumbass gonna trade him.
Apparently, half the NFL has straight up decided Cleveland doesn't deserve happiness, and now it looks like a full-blown yard sale outside the Browns front office with teams waving trade offers like cash at an auction, from desperate squads begging for a savior to slick coaches acting like it's eBay at 2 a.m. The madness is non-stop. Those trade phones in the league office, they're ringing so much you'd think the NFL turned into a charity telethon for quarterback-starved franchises. And right at the center of this storm sits none other than Sanders, the golden ticket Cleveland is clutching like it's the very last PlayStation 5 on Black Friday. Franchises aren't just calling, they're begging, pleading, groveling for a shot at this man.
Shedeur is everything that a winning coach wants for a quarterback that can help to build a dynasty. But can't nobody else get him until somebody shakes some shit up. So we just gonna keep on holding people accountable till they start shaking.
And the Browns, their response couldn't be colder. Absolutely not. Now go cry into your playbooks. You've got the Bengals calling like that ex who swore they'd moved on, but now they're creeping back with late night you up energy. Miami's blowing up Cleveland's line after Tua decided week 1 was the perfect time to completely forget how to quarterback. The Rams, they're dialing in between Matthew Stafford's chiropractor sessions like it's urgent care. And then the Colts tried to get slick.
It wasn't necessarily the plan going into the weekend to select 2 quarterbacks, but as we talk about, we do believe in best player available. We do believe in positional value, and we didn't necessarily expect him to be available in the 5th round. And so we love adding competition to every position room, and adding him to compete with, the guys that are already in there. We felt like,
floating the idea of swapping Anthony Richardson like he's some scratch-off lottery ticket you find at a gas station counter. Man, Cleveland is out here grinning like the Joker, arms folded, shutting everyone down with a smug, nope. Not today, not tomorrow, not until pigs sprout wings and Belichick shows up rocking a crop top on the sidelines. And here's the kicker, while NFL front offices are melting their phone batteries trying to lock down Sanders, Cleveland's got him sitting as their 3rd stringer. 3rd, behind Joe Flacco, who's pushing 40 and should honestly come with a senior citizen discount coupon, and Dylan Gabriel, whose biggest highlight so far is being confused for the dude who sets up the Gatorade coolers.
They don't want the guy. The owner don't want him. The coach don't want him. The general manager don't want him. They don't want him on the team. Obviously, the NFL do not want Shiloh or Shedeur in the league, but Shedeur is good for money and ratings, or he wouldn't even be there. They don't ever want him to play. Deion showed them yesterday of how he ran Colorado, what Cleveland should be doing. But they ain't going to do it. Instead, they list Shedeur as inactive for today's game. Listen, man.
Shedeur isn't even suiting up. He's basically Cleveland's most expensive mannequin, a franchise savior posted up in sweatpants collecting dust on the sidelines. And this isn't just tragic, it's comedy gold. Because when you peek at who Cleveland's scouting for the 2026 draft, it feels like watching bargain hunters rummage through a dollar store clearance bin.
You done had 3 teams. So y'all ain't know that this come from the inside. Somebody on the inside is sick of the Browns they sell. 3 teams ask for Shedeur. They want to train him. They want to start him. You know what the Browns did? Nope. We gonna keep him. Nope. See, that's the devil. But let me tell you.
Arch Manning, 11 completions on 25 attempts, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. That stat line looks like something out of a Pop Warner scrimmage, not the next face of the NFL. And Drew Aller, 16 of 29, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and enough misfires to make the team punter start sweating bullets. But Cleveland, in all their so-called genius, still thinks it's smart to keep scouting quarterbacks. Like really, ignore the guy already showing NFL-level accuracy and leadership, and instead drool over dudes who keep handing the ball to defenders like they're auditioning for somebody else's highlight reel. Yeah, that makes total sense. And here's the wild twist. Look at how the Browns even got Sanders in the first place. 5th-round pick, number 144, aka the NFL's version of a garage sale find. They didn't outsmart anyone. They just lucked out while the rest of the league had a collective brain freeze. Even the Saints passed on him just to grab Tyler Show, and honestly, that should be classified as a football war crime. But deep down, Cleveland's front office knows what they stumbled into.
Give the people what they want.
Well, for sure. I mean, listen, what do I want to watch? I want to watch Shedeur Sanders.
Who doesn't want to watch that?
But,
the world wants to see him go out there and not only play, but have success. At this point, guys are rooting for him. This isn't anything against Dylan. This isn't anything against Joe. I'm just saying the excitement is there for him to go out there.
Andrew Berry basically admitted the league fumbled by letting Sanders slide, and now the Browns are clutching him like a toddler gripping their favorite toy. And here's the part that makes it undeniable. Sanders isn't just another arm. He's out here doing community stunts that would have made Mr. Rogers jealous. Remember that apartment fire at Rainbow Terrace? While most rookies would have been stressing over lunch spots in Cleveland, probably stuck with something depressing like pierogies, Sanders was on the ground, helping out in real life like a hero. He's out here organizing help, showing up for people, sponsoring events.
He's going to put eyes on the screen. He is going to bring people to the game. It is what it is, man. I would love to fucking see it, man. I say all this as a fellow Clevelander, and I hear with the chatter around Cleveland and how everybody just you get Deion's son in the building,
basically doing more off the field than most vets ever manage. Meanwhile, chaos is tearing through the league. The Bengals lose Joe Burrow, and instantly his name shoots to the top of their emergency wish list. The Dolphins, they're forced to watch Tua play hot potato with the football, while Miami fans spam Twitter with nonstop "trade for Sanders," hashtags like it's a digital protest. The Rams are side-eyeing Matthew Stafford's spine like it's a ticking time bomb ready to go off at any second. And the Colts, they're sitting around like mad scientists wondering if Anthony Richardson is really the franchise savior or just a science project with an expiration date.
He enjoys being in the limelight. He enjoys being on that football field. He's got excitement. He's the showman when he plays.
Every one of these teams is desperate, and Cleveland's hoarding the cure in their closet. And here's where the comedy really slaps. This man isn't just a quarterback. He's a full-blown culture shift. Let's be real. The Browns have been a misery factory for decades. The drive, the fumble, and that endless quarterback carousel that felt like a cruel game of musical chairs sponsored by pure heartbreak. But then Sanders came along.
With all three guys to really give the defense a good look. Because being a scout team quarterback, you're working on your own craft, but really it's an art form to replicate the opponent so the defense can be ready to do their thing on Sunday. Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit different, and it's exciting because those guys do take pride in getting the defense ready. They want to do a good job of replicating the opponent's offense, and at the same time, they want to try to relate any play that they get to our game plan for that week too, so they can feel like they can get a little double duty there. Well, the quarterbacks are trying to do their best, as we know. Tough to replicate that character.
The same guy who rolled into Jackson State and turned them into a powerhouse. The same guy who landed in Colorado and made a dusty, irrelevant program suddenly shine again. He's not just a player. He's a problem solver, a culture fixer, the type who can walk into a dumpster fire and somehow leave with a fully built fireplace. And if there's any franchise that screams dumpster fire, it's Cleveland. But of course, not everyone's buying the Browns' little strategy. ESPN voices are already losing it, screaming, "If you're not gonna play him, trade him." Tony Rizzo practically had a meltdown on air, accusing the Browns of turning Sanders into nothing more than a flashy jersey-selling mascot. And honestly, that's not even the craziest take. How long can you keep a Ferrari locked in the garage while the rest of the league is driving around in busted minivans?
If Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good, he looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL
100%.
quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
does that
Yes.
make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
It doesn't make any
and they're
sense.
the ones
what are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this year?
But let's not pretend the Browns don't think they've got a plan. Kevin Stefanski keeps parroting that Sanders is developing, which is coach speak for, we don't actually know what we're doing, but hey, maybe something clicks later. And maybe, just maybe, letting him sit behind Flacco's dusty old wisdom for a year isn't the worst thing in the world. Let the grandpa teach him how to stand tall in the pocket, avoid those back-breaking interceptions, and maybe even order off the senior menu at Denny's without shame. Eventually, though, the training wheels have to come off. And here's where the real fireworks hit. The trade deadline, November 4th. Mark it down. That's when the Rams, desperate for a future beyond Stafford's aching back, could come storming in with multiple picks on the table. Because here's the truth, Cleveland doesn't just see Sanders as another quarterback. They see him.
So Cleveland ESPN has reported that Shedeur Sanders is not receiving any reps. That means no second team, third team, not even scout team reps. Meaning he's just sitting in practice, throwing the ball to whoever and just going through drills all day. No practice reps? No nothing? He can't improve? Why? Why is he not given an opportunity to even improve his skills? That's the whole point of practice. I understand now letting him go with the ones at this point. You've made it clear. Maybe even second team, but not even scout team reps?
As the guy who could finally make Browns football watchable without needing a stiff drink to get through it. And that right there is the nightmare fuel for the rest of the league, because if Sanders really becomes what Cleveland swears he can be, every single team that passed on him is gonna look like clowns at a kid's birthday party. The Saints, who picked Tyler Show over Sanders, will need therapy sessions just to cope. The Bengals, Dolphins, Rams, and Colts, they'll be kicking themselves for years for not throwing more on the table when they had the chance. And the rest of the NFL will sit back in disbelief, wondering how Cleveland, yes, the NFL's eternal punchline, pulled off what might go down as the steal of the century. But here's the cruelest twist. Sanders is still parked as the third stringer, not even suiting up. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco is out there trotting onto the field like a living relic from the Obama administration, and fans are left wondering why their golden ticket is wasting away on the sideline.
It's him to be the security blanket, which is what you brought him there for to begin with. You didn't bring him there to lead the Browns. You brought him to be a security blanket in the event that you couldn't find somebody else who could do it. That's why people in Cleveland were looking at it last year. Why the hell isn't he here last year? What the hell you let him get out the door for before you ultimately brought him back after the season he had a couple of years ago? But I do think it's important to bring this one nugget up. I'm looking at the average time to throw for a quarterback last year in the National Football League. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like at 2.42 to 3.14 seconds, if I remember correctly, based on what I read.
It's the equivalent of buying a Ferrari and then deciding to use it as a lawn ornament. At some point, you have to put him in. At some point, the experiment has to begin, because you can't keep dangling hope in front of desperate fans forever without paying it off. Until then, the cycle continues. Teams keep calling, Cleveland keeps slamming the door, and Sanders just sits there, the calm eye in the middle of the NFL's dumbest storm. They're literally holding the league hostage with a rookie they scooped in the 5th round, and it's driving everyone else insane. Whether Sanders ends up being the savior Cleveland has been praying for, or just another sad entry in their endless saga of heartbreak, is still up in the air. But right now,
I think we are dumb. I mean, they think we stupid dumb. I have a problem. If you don't want something, let Shedeur go. If you don't want him on your team, if you're not planning on starting him, let him go. If you're not planning on treating him right, let him go. But don't get us wrong. We want Shedeur to be treated just like the rest of them.
one fact is undeniable. Cleveland isn't trading him. They're not budging, not blinking, not even flinching. For once, the Browns are gripping hope with both hands like it's the last life preserver on a sinking ship. They've basically turned into that stubborn friend who refuses to cash in a winning lottery ticket just because they like the way it looks stuck to the fridge. NFL teams are flashing draft picks, waving cash, and sliding metaphorical bribes across the table, and Cleveland just leans back with a smirk saying, "Nah, we're good." And the comedy here? This is the same franchise that once convinced itself Brandon Weeden, Colt McCoy, and Johnny Manziel were part of some grand master plan. Back then, the Browns were the ones begging, the ones scrambling, the ones desperate. But now, the roles are flipped. The entire league is desperate for what Cleveland's hiding. And the funniest part? Cleveland's not even bothering to be polite about it. Meanwhile, in the background, you just know is scrolling through Twitter, watching the chaos unfold, smirking to himself and quietly thinking, yeah, sooner or later, they're gonna need me. What makes this circus even funnier is Cleveland's current quarterback hierarchy. Imagine telling Browns fans a couple years ago that they'd be begging for a 40-year-old Joe Flacco to start while their shiny new franchise toy sits untouched like a collector's item still in the box. And Dylan Gabriel, he's somehow being paraded around like the future of the franchise, even though the man hasn't proved he's anything more than a temporary placeholder with a nice smile. And then, sitting right there in the locker room like forbidden fruit, is Sanders, untouched, untested, yet somehow already more valuable than half the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. The irony is almost poetic, the kind of absurdity we haven't seen since Bill O'Brien thought trading DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of peanuts was a good idea. You've got teams with playoff dreams crumbling faster than Matthew Stafford's vertebrae, all begging Cleveland for the one guy who could actually keep their season alive. And the Browns just laugh and refuse. And the thing is, they're not even wrong. Sanders isn't just another quarterback prospect, he's a walking cultural reset button.
At this point, y'all are saying he can't do anything right. I recently saw last week when the kicker missed his kick in the last couple of seconds, Shedeur went over to give him some words of encouragement, and y'all said that he just wanted some TV time. Newsflash. The only reason why the camera was over there is because Shedeur walked over there. Like, you've been able to have an explanation for everything on why he's not good, why he can't play, but explain why you won't allow him to practice. Explain why you won't allow him to actually get better. Y'all are making it very obvious. You just want to bury him and so we can just stop talking about him. But at this point, the story is too big. Everything about this has been blown way out of proportion. I'm just looking for...
Look at Jackson State. Before Sanders, they weren't even on the national radar. He shows up and suddenly ESPN can't stop talking about them. Then he goes to Colorado, and overnight the butt of every college football joke becomes must-watch TV. Now he's in Cleveland, a city so used to losing they might as well trademark misery. And what happens? He flips the script without even touching the field. That's why the Browns refuse to let him go, because this isn't just about arm strength, accuracy, or pocket awareness. It's about the fact that Sanders is already more than a quarterback. He's a brand. He's a headline. He's hope in shoulder pads. If you're Cleveland, how do you even sell that move? How do you look fans in the eyes and explain that you traded away not just a potential star, but the one guy who finally made this city believe again? You can't, because that would officially crown you the biggest idiots in a league that once let Nathan Peterman toss 5 interceptions in a single half of football. And let's not forget, Cleveland's front office keeps whispering about scouting the 2026 quarterback class like it's the answer. But if you thought Sanders' college dominance was insane, wait until you see the so-called future stars they're drooling over. Arch Manning, the so-called golden boy, out here tossing more incompletions than a JV high school backup. And Drew Aller, his numbers look like he was out there throwing blindfolded at a carnival dunk tank. These are the guys Cleveland supposedly wants to consider as the future? Please. Sanders was putting up better numbers than that while scarfing down lunch between classes. And here's the crazy part. The longer Cleveland keeps him parked on the bench, the louder the trade calls get. Every week he sits, his value multiplies. It's like buying a dirt cheap stock and suddenly watching it rocket to the moon, while every other investor panics trying to buy in. The real question is, how long can Cleveland drag this game out? Because November 4th is creeping closer, and desperate teams are about to start writing blank checks. Miami fans are already sharpening their pitchforks every time Tua Gift wraps another interception.
Shedeur Sanders is going to end up getting traded. He will not be with the Cleveland Browns for long. You can bank on that now. I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders is going to get traded. He's not beating out all those guys in the QB room to start within the next 2 to 3 years. This year, next year, the year.
Walked up to you after taking his walk down to the pylon, and then he walked back up to you on the sidelines before Snoop went in, and he said something to you. You shook your head. I mean, was he trying to get back?
He's a competitive kid. The plan was to go with Snoop there, so but I wouldn't make any more of it than that.
The Bengals know their season is toast without Burrow. The Rams can't keep pretending Stafford's back isn't basically held together by duct tape. And the Colts? Let's just say Richardson's franchise quarterback experiment has had way more downs than ups. And that's the ultimate twist. The Browns are sitting on the NFL's biggest lottery ticket, and nobody knows when they're going to cash it in. Every passing week, the tension builds, the trade rumors grow louder, and Sanders' value climbs higher than ticket prices at a Taylor Swift concert. The league is buzzing, fans are restless, and Cleveland is just sitting there, arms crossed, acting like they've got all the time in the world. But time isn't on their side. November 4th could flip the entire NFL on its head, because when those trade offers turn into desperate all-in bids, the Browns are either going to look like geniuses for holding the line, or clowns for letting the perfect storm of hype and opportunity pass them by. Because here's the truth. Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a movement, a brand, a once-in-a-generation player who can walk into a city and rewrite its entire identity overnight. The only question left is simple. Will Cleveland be the place where that story finally explodes into legend, or will they be remembered as the franchise too scared to unleash the one man who could have saved them? What the hell was that? One moment he's just another rookie on the bench, the next he's looking like future MVP material before he's even taken a real snap. And trust me, one of these desperate teams is gonna panic hard enough to throw an offer Cleveland simply can't ignore. But until that day comes, the Browns are soaking it all in. For once, they're not the league's clowns. They're the gatekeepers of hope, clutching the one guy every desperate franchise is drooling over. Right now, Cleveland is sitting back, sipping tea, and watching the rest of the NFL completely lose its collective mind. And if that doesn't make you laugh, absolutely nothing will. So make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your people, and I'll see you on the next one.